Today is also marking World Refugee Day. It's a day set aside to honor the strength and resilience of millions of people who are forced to flee their homes because of war, violence, and persecution. Across the globe, more than 120 million people have been forcibly displaced. In this moment, it is the highest number ever recorded. Conflict in regions like the Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia, Ethiopia, Sudan, and Palestine continues to drive people from their homes in search of safety. In South Africa, this day is recognized as a time to reflect on the rights and humanity of those seeking refuge inside our borders. Newzroom Afrika's Nasiphi joins us now for more. Nasiphi, when you speak to refugees, when you think about some of the situations and the context that I've shared already where people are displaced and have to leave in the middle of the night oftentimes, worrying about their personal safety, separated from their loved ones. It really is horrific. And then they make this long, uncertain journey to potential places of safety, not always finding it.
Well, Iman, from that list that you just mentioned now, one could also add refugees from countries like Ukraine and Russia, looking at the current conflict taking place in those countries and many others. And as you put it, men, women, children finding themselves leaving these sanctuaries to look for a place of safety and settling as refugees and asylum seekers. And one can only imagine the challenges that one encounters. And as you put it, today being World Refugee Day highlights not only some of the challenges, but also the contributions that refugees and asylum seekers have in communities that they ultimately call home. And fortunately for us, I am joined by someone who will not only be detailing to us the contributions, the challenges, but also somebody that was a refugee herself, who is a refugee herself. I'm joined by Mamo Al-Dafin, who's from an organization that particularly zones in on women, fearlessly raising up women. But I think what I want to start with first, Mamo Al-Dafin, the challenges at the top of your head that refugees find themselves in, or the reasons perhaps that they end up fleeing their homes.
Thank you very much, and greetings to all our viewers out there. My name is Adolphine Misekabo. And for sure, how I can highlight these challenges that most of these millions of people that have fled due to the conflict and persecutions in their respected countries. One, when they come into the refugee of their countries of refuge, they find themselves in some state of mind. One, they need to, the part of mental health is one of the biggest challenge. And not only that, they have also documentation problem. So this is another challenge that you find that the majority they are facing, and looking at the systems that really it's limiting the refugees out there to access. When you don't have a document, you are actually told out there that you need to be prepared when you leave your country, which is also a big problem, looking at the tightening of the policies, the system itself. And not only that, but look at the marginalized communities. And when we look at women, mostly are the most vulnerable, and girls, and they're being targeted mostly when it comes to sexual violence and ruthless, looking into these journeys of unexpected, because I'm also a refugee myself, coming from DRC.
Let's talk about you being a refugee, finding a safe haven in South Africa. The reasons that you left the DRC, your sanctuary, your comfort.
Thank you very much. Leaving my home country was unexpected. And that is something that people need to understand. When you leave your home country, leaving your home country, it's not by plan. But leaving a home that you call a home, and you come to a place where you don't know, you don't even expect, and you still have to rebuild your life. That is your home when you are being embraced as a human being, because you have the right I believe that everyone has the right to start their own life and rebuild. For my own example, or like my own experience, I had to stand up and not only to look at my own fellow refugees, but looking at the people that we are living with, where we are integrated with, the communities themselves. We need to come together, we need to come in solidarity, integrate ourselves, because when it comes to these such challenges, we'll find that there are some most common challenges within our communities.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave the conversation there. But it is World Refugee Day. Speaking to Mam Aldefine, forming part of an organization that assists refugees in resettling in other countries, but also, touching on some of the challenges that refugees encounter. One doesn't think of the emotional or psychological impact in leaving your home country and settling in a country that perhaps you don't understand the language, the culture, but also from navigating your way in rebuilding your life. So we will be speaking to more people and organizations throughout the course of the day, just detailing and talking to us about the significance of having such days such as World Refugee Day.